Dear sister, there is a reason that takers love givers. There's also a reason why givers unconsciously love takers. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Dear Sister podcast, where you have a brother here to offer you wisdom, strength, and empowerment for women. Listen, there's a reason why givers stay with takers. You know why? Because they confuse sometimes being drained with being needed. And some of you know what I'm talking about right away. You're drained, but in a sense you feel needed. And some of you saw your moms go through the same thing, your aunts go through the same thing. And it's not always with a male. It's not always in relationship. Sometimes the giver just is addicted to giving and unconsciously doesn't see that they're being worn out. Sis, it's time to wake up. You know why? Because when you get stuck in that place, you'll look up and you'll find that you are giving so much to other people and you find satisfaction in giving, not even realizing that you haven't even gotten anything from anybody for years, right? I went through that in my own life as a man because I'm a giver. And, giving to everybody else, it just made me happy. It was like, what makes you happy? And I used to say it. People ask me, what makes you happy? Oh, giving to everybody, making sure everybody has this and that. But then after a while, years went by and you look up and you find yourself drained or tired and you're looking around for somebody to give to you and you just can't find it. One of the hardest things I think, sis, that you got to realize is that some of the taking has been your fault. I know that's tough to hear. It was tough for me to receive for myself, but some of the taking has been your fault because, again, your addiction to giving, your addiction to trying to help everybody made you forget you, or you thought that those people were going to remember you and they didn't. And that's where major heartbreak comes in. Listen, givers find identity in giving. And that's where things fall apart. Because many of you are taught that love looks like self-sacrifice. As a woman, you're taught that it looks like self-sacrifice. And that's not the right lesson. It looks like sacrifice, but not self-sacrifice. You can give of yourself, but many of you got lost because you gave your whole self and it didn't work out for you, right? You feel most valuable, right, when you're doing something for somebody else. But where's the value in you? After a while, you got to stop and pause. Some of you in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and you're looking up and you're saying, wow, what did I get for all the giving I did all my life? See, after a while, you got to realize that if you're in a relationship that there's no reciprocation, where there's no reciprocation, then are you really in a relationship? What are you really in? See, the thing that I learned about takers is this. Takers know how to spot a giver. Absolutely, takers know how to spot a giver. Takers read energy like a predator would, right? Takers read energy and they move on who they know wants to give. And it's a sick thing. And sometimes I don't even think it's consciously, but it's in the heart of a taker to take, just like it's in the heart of a giver to give. And the taker will find a giver, right? What happens is a lot of times they mirror your kindness long enough to get you comfortable, to not see what you're doing to yourself. That's where things begin to fall apart in your life because you get lulled to sleep by somebody. And again, this is always, you can look in your life as a woman and say, oh, this man, that man. But sometimes it was your own mother. Sometimes it was your own father, your own siblings, your own friends, right? Because givers make the mistake of not looking hard enough at the situation. You just want to give and it makes you feel good, right? And what happens is many of you have been conditioned to believe that your needs are a burden, right? So then you give and give and give, and then you look up and say, well, wow, my needs ain't being met, right? That's because you saw your own needs as a burden. You didn't want to bother nobody. You didn't want to bother nobody. And some of you have said that out of your own mouth. Oh, I ain't want to, I don't want to bother nobody. I don't want to. Come on. That's because honestly, you're not loving you properly. And I'm going to tell you something else. You not loving you properly makes it very hard for you to find someone that will. Y'all hear me? You not loving you properly makes it hard for you to find someone that will actually love you properly. And then you'll find yourself in a bind, right? Givers, in a sense, mistake receiving for selfishness. Like, oh, I don't need nothing. How many times have you said that? Many of you have said that yourself. I'm cool. And you know right here in the back of your mind, you know 7 things you need right there. But you won't say it because you don't want to be a burden to nobody else. Or you don't ever think of your needs when someone asks because you never thought of your needs. It's never on the tip of your tongue because it was never in the back or the front of your mind, your own needs. So what you do is you suppress your needs, hoping someone will just know. But you as a giver, nobody ever came in your life and had to tell you what they needed. You looked, you saw, you paid attention. That's the heart of a giver. People, you give without anybody even asking, or because that's the heart of a giver. You find places to give, even if it's not very obvious to you, right? And so again, my dad used to tell me this. He used to tell me, son, everybody ain't gonna treat you like you treat people. That was one of the hardest lessons in the world because I just thought, if somebody loves you, that's how they gonna treat you. I learned real quick. That's not how that goes. That's not how that goes at all. So even though you suppress your feelings, hoping, again, that word hope, I hope somebody peeps this, I hope somebody recognizes this, they won't. Because this is the thing you got to think about. Why would a taker ever stop to see what you need? No, right? Or they'll give you, what they will give you is the bare minimum, right? To keep you in the game. And I want you to hear that. I want you to hear, I'm not using that word by mistake. They will give you just enough to keep you in the game. And most of the time you see that in a very manipulative relationship, right? They know what you want. They know what you need, but I'm only going to give you enough to keep you stuck in this game. Not enough to make you feel valuable, not enough to make you feel worthy of something. No, just enough to keep you giving, right? So this is some of the tools that takers use. They make you feel like saying no is betrayal. You said no, like, well, how could you betray me like that, right? They make you feel like saying no is betrayal, like you doing the wrong thing by saying no to them. I said this in the short, and I want y'all to hold on to this. You know how you take your life back? One no at a time, right? And sometimes you got to say no to the people that you love. You can absolutely love a taker. And guess what? It's your right. It's your right. I want to say that it's your right because some of y'all don't even know you have a right to say no. You're stuck because you won't give yourself a right to say no. You're stuck right there, right? Or what happens is they'll twist your boundaries, right? They'll twist your boundaries into accusations, accusing you of not being fair or kind. You know what I learned too? Say no one time to somebody you always say yes to. You'll find out who they are real quick, right? And another thing that happens is when you try to walk away, here comes the victim. Here comes the victim. Watch the people in your life who you give everything to, and they have no problem becoming a victim real quick as it pertains to you and as it pertains to something they can find that you didn't quite do. And anybody in your life always looking to find what you didn't do right, they don't love you. They love what they can get from you. They love what they can get from you. And you got to be real careful being in relationships where it's all about what they can get from you and you don't wake up to really see it. See, that's why I think I'm a tag this video or label this video that it's time to wake up, because you're in the sleep that giving does. Giving can put you to sleep and make you excited at the same time. See, so some of you say, well, Christian, I'm a giver. What am I supposed to do? Have boundaries. You don't ever have to stop being a giver because you won't, but you have to have boundaries. If you don't start building boundaries in your life, you're going to end up angry. You're going to end up depleted. You're going to end up confused about what you're worth and eventually feel like you're worth nothing but giving to somebody else. See, that's when you get to the point where your love begins to turn into labor. And your affections for someone or something becomes an obligation. And that's when it's not fun anymore. And I'm going to tell you the biggest danger of that is you fall into something that I call emotional slavery, where you're a slave to somebody else's emotions and you're a slave to your own negative emotions or negative thinking about yourself, right? Don't confuse consistency with compatibility. Don't confuse because somebody's there, that means they should be there. Because again, where's the taker ever going to go? Come on, talk to me. Where's the taker ever going to go? Put it in the chat. If you ever been through this, put it in the chat that I say, Christian, I know what you're talking about there. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Throw that in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. Givers will confuse consistency with compatibility. Oh, they there. So what? They there. They there in a problem. They there in a heartbreak. They're there. But guess what? It ain't doing nothing for your strength, your energy. They just there. Right? Something could just be there. Time doesn't fix these things. You waking up realizes, it makes you realize what am I in? Time don't break these patterns, right? You can't let time do it because you're gonna look up in 15 years, 20 years done gone by. You ever been a certain person or made this certain mistake or been stuck this way, and you look and 20 years done gone by and you never addressed it, never seen it. You know why? Because you live in an emotional denial that how could this person do this, or are they really doing this? They are. The answer has been here for years. See, you got to learn, sis. You can't heal someone who's committed to using you. I got to make a short out of that. You can't heal someone that's committed to using you. Takers don't want healing. They want access. Come on. Come on. Takers don't want healing. They want access, right? They want to exploit your compassion. They want to exploit the connection that you have with them. They want to say, well, look, you know me and you've been here for years. See, all that language that keeps you stuck right in that hole. Stop trying to fix someone who benefits from staying broken. That come on. Stop trying to fix people, sis. That's one of the biggest problems I see with my dear sisters out there. You are committed to fixing people and fixing. You can't fix everything. You can't fix every situation, right? You can't. You can't. And that's one of the things you got to accept about yourself, that you can't fix everybody. You can't fix everybody. Again, and you definitely can't fix somebody who is committed to using you, or you can't fix somebody committed to staying broken. You can't do it. They've already decided just where they're going to be. And guess what? They might be an all right person, but not for you. Not for you as a giver. I've said often, takers need to find takers and givers need to find givers. But you know what you got to do that? You got to slow down, right? Because real love is about reciprocity, right? Mutual giving, right? That's the healthy love, mutual giving. I see you, you see me, I see what you need, I see what you need, and we're trying to, right? I said this before in relationship. If you got two people like trying to love each other ridiculously, nobody is found unloved, right? But you shouldn't find yourself always running around on empty. That's not love. That's called exploitation. And if you saw somebody else, this is the thing about, as a giver, you can see this thing from a mile away in somebody else, but you can't never see it in you. You can't ever see it in your situation because the giver won't let you see it, right? So, and peep this. Walk away, because it doesn't make you cold. It doesn't make you bitter, right? What it means is I'm protecting my peace. I'm not going to live in the punishment of somebody taking every good part of me and then I can't find it, right? The most loving thing you can do for yourself is save yourself from that situation. But you got to love yourself enough to do it. That's your challenge. Do you love yourself enough to do it? You'll say it, I love myself. You got to prove it in situations where somebody's hurting you, right? You can't look at it as abandonment. And you can't let them convince you that it's abandonment. No, it's you loving you to the fullest. And that's what matters. See, this needs to be a t-shirt. You're not anyone's savior. Your job is not to carry grown people's emotions. You're not. You're just not. You should be building you, not breaking you. The relationship should be building you, not breaking you. Listen, I said this in a podcast yesterday. You're allowed to outgrow the roles you played in people's lives, and you have a right to outgrow people, places, and circumstances without apologizing, because it's about valuing yourself. Listen, I hope this is helping y'all today. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure this goes to other sisters. I'm just a brother with some wisdom that wants to see you do well, right? I want to see you do well. Let me close like this. You're not wrong for loving hard, but it's time to be smarter than you've been, right? Givers don't need to stop giving. You need to start discerning who you're giving to. Because at the end of the day, when a giver wakes up, a taker loses access. And when a taker loses access, you find your healing. Sis, you matter to me. Make sure you matter to you. Stand tall every day. And like I tell all the women I'm around when I teach and do conferences, stay wise every day, especially about guarding your own heart. I love you. Stand tall. Pray for yourself. Invest in yourself. Thanks for hanging out with me today, y'all. I love you. To the moon and never back, brother.